Good morning, dear hearts. Here we are. We are starting the final special thought in part 2 of the workbook. And this one is, what am I? You will notice as we go forward in this section now that it's almost all completely prayer. And this one starts out with a prayer, an explanation of what am I? And it tells us that we are God's son, and we are healed, and we are whole, and we are shining in the reflection of his love. We are the embodiment of God's thought of love, the extension of that thought of love. This section, this starts and it tells us, and we've said it before, because as we go further on into the workbook, we are told that our use for words is almost over, okay? But so we will not have the need for words in order to extend love, okay? We are simply required now to follow the directions, and for us to speak when we do speak, to only speak of unity. Because these are the words that would come through us from God, from Holy Spirit. This is how we would be directed. So that any words that we do speak, even though we don't need them very often, perhaps, they are to be ones that will come from a place of unity and wholeness and love. Remember from lesson 154 that we are God's messengers. We are the ministers. We are here to extend the message that we have been given. Now, we don't decide what that message is. We don't write it down. It's not for us to do that. It's not for us to write it or to think it. It's simply for us to convey it. And we will be given the means in order to do that. So we step back and allow ourselves to be led. We are not seeking to replace God in any way. We are merely choosing to be the shepherds to the flock of our brothers who still need some directions to find their way home. That is what we are. We have become God's shepherds, God's ministers, God's messengers, and we are being directed, we are being led as to what to do and when to do it. So we release our individual use of our senses, because our individual use, when we use the senses, the 5 senses that we all know we have, when we use them based from the ego point of view, they are used to separate. But when we allow, as this lesson tells us, as this special thought tells us, to use our eyes, our ears, our voice, we're using them now in order to bless, to join together and to bless the world. And we give voice to the Holy Spirit. We allow our voice to be used by the Holy Spirit to speak, to unite with all of our brothers into that state of one-mindedness, that our words as they come through us are not truly our words. They are the words that we are being guided, led to say, so that they will only be words that are of oneness, of kindness, of unity, of peace, of everlasting love. They are not words that separate anymore. They are not condemnations. They are not judgments. The words that we use now are the words of the Holy Spirit, and we go to the space of knowing that we are willingly giving ourselves to that purpose. The lesson, the special thought says that, so where are we going to find this message that we are to say? Because it's not coming from us individually, it is coming from the one-mindedness. Well, this message isn't one we have to find. It's one that we already have, that we have always had. And this tells us that it is written on our hearts. So we've always had it. It has taken us to this moment perhaps to find it, to realize it, to connect with it. But we have always had the ability to find the message of God written within us, holding on to us as we have been holding on to it. And now we are at a space where we will uncover it and extend it and share it and give it. Now, I find it very interesting towards the end of this section. I didn't say lesson this time. That it says, we bring glad tidings to the Son of God, who thought he suffered, now he is redeemed. And the phrase, glad tidings, is very much one of Christmas time. And that's where we are right now. We are in the space of the winter holidays of Christmas time. And glad tidings is something that is in songs and in like the Christmas Carol, in literature. Glad tidings, to me, it just simply speaks of this time of year. Goodwill towards men. Glad tidings to all. And it says, now he is redeemed, and he sees the gate of heaven stand open before him, because that gate has always been open. But now, the Son of God, that's us, will enter in and disappear into the heart of God. We are home. We are home. Home in the heart of God, with glad tidings and happy thoughts and peace and joy and comfort to all. So this is our time, our winter time, our time of redemption, our time of celebration, and our time to go home. So I hope that helped. I hope you are having glad tidings and extending them and recognizing who you are, because you are so magnificent. You are so far beyond the little thoughts that you may have had about yourself. So, what am I? We are the sinless, guiltless, absolutely perfect children of God. Namaste.